Good morning, dear students. In this session, let us study the poem The Jaguar, written by Ted Hughes, an English poet. In this session, we try to understand the nature of animals in the zoo. And we compare and contrast the animals in the zoo. First, we study the nature of the animals in the zoo. Later, we compare and contrast the animals in the zoo. And we try to understand the imagery and the structure of the poem. And at last, we try to understand the poet's implicit love for animals and indignation towards man for enslaving animals. We come to know the poet's stand or attitude towards the animals and human beings. That is, poet's implicit love for animals is presented in the poem, and his indignation towards man for enslavement of the animals is also presented in this poem. So we come to know poet's attitude towards the animals on the one hand and his attitude towards the human beings who enslave animals. So it is very clear that he loves animals very much. After going through this session, we will be in a position to differentiate between the domesticated zoo animals and wild jaguar. The animals in the zoo are domesticated almost. And we come to know the difference between the domesticated zoo animals and wild jaguar. We learn the nature, instinct of the wild jaguar and its powerfulness. We learn about the nature, or we know the nature, the instinct and powerfulness of the wild jaguar. We will also be in a position to appreciate the imagery the poet uses and the metaphorical language used in this poem. We can infer the poet's concern and love for animals, as I told you just now. You see, the poem Jaguar is one of the poems from the volume entitled The Hawk in the Rhine, published in the year 1957 by Ted Hughes. It is taken from the collection of poems Hawk in the Rhine. This poem, The Jaguar, stands as one among the best of Ted Hughes' symbolic poems. It is a symbolic poem. Jaguar stands for freedom, power, energy, and other things. This poem presents the implicit encounter between man and animals. In the poem, we find the implicit encounter, not the explicit encounter. The clash between man and animals is implied in the poem, not explicitly presented in the poem. It is implied. The clash between man and animals is implied in the poem. So it is an animal poem, and it has just 5 stanzas in it. Let us look into the structure of the poem. The poem has a beginning. In the beginning, the poem depicts the indolence and sluggishness of animals. There are so many animals in the zoo. The animals like apes, parrots, tiger, lion, boa constrictor, and so many other animals. But these animals are indolent in their nature. They are sluggish. They are very, very lazy. They have become almost inactive since they are confined to the zoo or compartments in the zoo. That is the beginning of the poem. The first part of the poem presents the laziness and inactivity of the animals in the zoo. In the middle of the poem, or the middle of the poem, pictures the enraged jaguar in the zoo. In the middle of the poem, the poet pictures the enraged jaguar, unlike the other animals. In the end, the poet depicts the sense of freedom which the jaguar seems to experience, despite his being a prisoner in a cage. Even jaguar animal is also kept in the cage, but it depicts a sense of freedom. It has got a sense of freedom. It expresses or experiences a sense of freedom inside the prison. So the poem has a beginning, it has a middle and the end. The pitiable condition of the animals in the zoo is presented in the poem. In the first part of the poem, the poet gives the pitiable condition of animals in the zoo. He talks about various animals and their laziness, inactivity. Apes, for example, he cites the example of apes which are imprisoned in the zoo. They yawn and adore their fleas in the sun. They have nothing to do. The only thing the apes can do is yawning and adoring the fleas in the sun. They have nothing to do. They have no other thing to do. Then the poet talks about the parrots. Parrots scream for nuts that passerby have brought. The passerbys are the visitors who come to the zoo to see and enjoy the animals. They come with nuts. They want to give one or two nuts to the birds and animals. These parrots, whenever they see the people or visitors eating nuts, they scream to get the nuts from the visitors. They too have nothing to do. Their scream is compared to the cry of one put on fire. They cry so severely that one feels that they might have been kept on the burning fire. So it is a simile. The screaming of the birds for nuts is compared to the cry of a man who is put on the fire. They are moving about proudly as if to showing off their finery like cheap tarts. There is another comparison, another simile. The birds and animals which are kept in the zoo are moving about. They are moving about very proudly to show that they are in finery, they are in a fine dress, or very happy, pleasant. They are showing off their finery, fine features like cheap tarts. Tarts means prostitutes. Prostitutes display their wares, physical features in order to attract the customers. Similarly, the animals in the zoo present themselves as if a prostitute presents herself before the customers. Normally, the animals like lion and tiger, they are very active and swift. But these two animals in the zoo are very lazy now. They are tired of being in the cage. They seem to be still like the sun. This is another simile the poet uses in the poem. The sun is very static, is stagnant, because all the other bodies or planets go around the sun. So these two animals, which are generally active and very swift, lion and tiger, seems to be just like the sun in the zoo. They do not go anywhere else. They remain at one particular place. Then the poet talks about another creeper, boa constrictor or a snake. It has coiled itself in the form of a fossil. So it is a metaphor. It doesn't look like a living snake. It looks like a fossil, dead, long time ago. It cannot move out. So the animals in the zoo are very, very inactive. They are very, very lazy. All animals kept to amuse visitors, but they fail to do so by their laziness. Animals are generally kept in the zoo to make or amuse the visitors to the zoo. But these animals which are kept in the zoo are lazy, they are inactive, they fail to entertain the visitors. That shows their laziness. Cage after cage seems to be empty for visitors. The visitors keep moving from one cage to another. In all the cages, they find inactive, lazy animals. They do not get the entertainment. So they keep on moving from one cage to another without waiting for the animals' reaction. Only their stink and body smell make them seem alive. The visitor feel that these animals are alive just by their stink and body smell. Otherwise, even the visitors think that these animals are not alive, they are dead. But the stink and body smell of the animals make the visitors think that they are alive. Otherwise, they are almost dead. The animals look as static as a painting on the nursery wall. The poet gives another very interesting comparison in the second part of the poem. The animals in the zoo are just as static as a painting on the nursery wall. In a nursery school wall, the pictures of the animals are painted to make the children look at it and enjoy. But the real animals in the cage are just like the paintings on the nursery wall. It means to say that they are not alive, they are dead. They are just like pictures in the zoo. The visitors do not find any interest in them. They rush past to the next cage, cage after cage, like all others. Not one particular visitor. Almost all the visitors come to the zoo with enthusiasm, with high expectation to look at the birds and animals which are very, very active. But they find them inactive, lazy. So they keep moving without wasting their time to the next cages. Wherever they go, they find the same sort of animals. All animals in their shells are lazy. So they feel a little disappointed. Next, they come to a cage of the jaguar. Ultimately, these visitors come to the cage of the jaguar. Jaguar is a wild animal, a ferocious animal that holds them spellbound. This particular animal in the cage was different from all other animals that were there in the cages or in the zoo. All other animals are inactive, lazy, but this particular animal, jaguar, is not lazy. The people are spellbound when they saw this active jaguar. They were mesmerized as a child at a dream. Again, the poet uses a simile. When a child dreams of something, it feels spellbound or mesmerized. Similarly, the visitors to the zoo find mesmerized when they saw the active jaguar in the zoo, when all other animals are inactive, lazy. So the poet gives the picture of the jaguar at the cage. Jaguar is enraged due to enslavement in the cage. The jaguar is very, very angry for being imprisoned in a cage. It is enslaved to make it appear before the visitors. They present it before the visitors and collect fees. So it is very much enraged for being enslaved in a cage. The eyes of the jaguar are sharp and they are penetrating. They pierce into the body of the visitors or human beings. The eyes are so sharp that they drill holes into the body of a human being. They are almost blind because of the fire of rage in them. The jaguar has almost lost its eyesight because of the fire of rage in his eyes. It is very, very angry. The anger of the jaguar has made it lose its eyesight. His eyesight has almost gone blind because of the anger that it has on the human beings for imprisoning it, for enslaving it in the cage. And it is depth of ear. It has lost its auditory capacity because of the bang of blood in the brain. It is so angry that its blood bangs on its brain. So its ears have almost gone deaf. This activity of jaguar shows how active it is in the cage and how enraged jaguar is in the cage. It wills about its cage. It doesn't keep at one particular place in the cage, unlike the other animals. It keeps moving in a cage, whirling around in the cage, which is no cage for it. It doesn't take it as a cage. Even though it is kept in a cage, it does not take it as a cage. It feels that it is free. Its stride is his wilderness of freedom. Every step that a jaguar takes in the cage is the wilderness of freedom. Though the bars of the cage not allowed it to move out. Even though there are bars, even though jaguar is not able to come out of the cage, it feels that it takes its stride in the forest of freedom, in the wilderness of freedom. The jaguar feels so free and strong that the world seems to roll under the thrust of its heel. Even though jaguar is imprisoned in a cage, a small cage, it feels that it is very, very free and very, very strong, and the entire world is under its heels, or feet. It feels supreme, and it feels that it is very, very powerful. It is very, very dominating animal. This animal, jaguar, does not look outside to look beyond the horizon, rather in itself is a horizon. This jaguar does not look outside. It doesn't look beyond the horizon. Rather than that, it itself feels that it itself is an horizon. And it is not in boredom. It is not bored, disappointed like other animals in other cages. Its instinctive attitude, jaguar's instinctive attitude and wildness of spirit is implicit in each stride of it. It cannot stand at one particular place. It cannot rest for a moment. This restlessness of jaguar in the cage shows instinctive attitude of it and the wilderness of its spirit that is implicitly stated in the poem. Jaguar is personified in the poem. It is personified as an visionary, a dreamer of freedom, a revolutionary, visionary. So the poet addresses the jaguar with a pronoun he. He means a human being. Jaguar is personified, treated like a human being because it fights for freedom and it has its own dream. It is a visionary. It is a metaphor for world. Jaguar is a metaphor for world. It stands for the entire world. It feels that the entire world is under its feet. It feels that it is a supreme animal in the world. Entire world, it stands for the entire world. So the poem Jaguar is a terrific power. The animal jaguar is not an ordinary animal. It has terrific power in it. Man may imprison an animal, powerful animal like jaguar, but he cannot imprison its instinct and wilderness. We may imprison a powerful wild animal like jaguar in a zoo, but we cannot imprison or control its instinct and wilderness. So jaguar in the poem stands for a revolutionary. Jaguar means a revolutionary. It is a symbol of revolutionary, one who fights very boldly for freedom. The poem exposes the brutality of man over living creatures. So in the poem, the poet implicitly exposes the brutality of men over the animals in the zoo. They imprison, they exploit the animals. And he talks about the stupidity for keeping them in a zoo. He says that man is stupid to keep all these wild animals in a zoo. So zoo itself is a symbol of exploitation. Zoo is a place where we keep birds, animals in cages. We curtail their freedom, free movement. So zoo is a symbol of exploitation. In zoo, animals are exploited because their movement is curtailed and degradation of animals and nature. Zoo is a symbol of exploitation, degradation of animals and also of nature. Even the visitors support it by visiting the zoo. Even the visitors who come to the zoo to watch, see and enjoy the animals are also exploiting, degrading the animals. They do not treat the animals as living beings. They treat them as objects which give them pleasure. That is a degradation and exploitation of animals. The jaguar stare is a stare at a human from the non-human. The jaguar is very, very wild. It stares at the visitors. It is very angry at the people who have imprisoned it. That is why the stare of the jaguar is the stare or a clash between, shows the clash between humans and non-humans, humans and animals. As a revolutionary never be confined to a zoo, as in the case of a jaguar. Jaguar is a revolutionary. He can never be confined to a zoo, but it is confined. Jaguar is a revolutionary. Even though we imprison it in a cage, it cannot remain in a cage. Physically it may remain in a cage, but mentally is not in the cage. So Ted Hughes created a myth of revolutionary by jaguar. By writing a poem on jaguar, he made jaguar a myth of a revolutionary who fights for freedom. The poet implicitly shows his love for and concern for animals in the poem. Not directly, the poet shows indirectly or implicitly his love and concern for animals in the poem. So this is a poem on animals, particularly on jaguar, which is very, very active, restless, energetic, and which fights for freedom. The poem captures the unbowed grandeur of the jaguar. The jaguar does not surrender to the power of the human beings. It never accepts a defeat. It feels that it is the supreme animal in this world. And it gives representation to its courage, creative imagination, as he refuses to be cowed down by man's attempt to domesticate his wild nature. It is a wild animal. Man tries to domesticate it by imprisoning it in a cage, but a jaguar is not cowed down. It does not bend. It refuses. It shows its own courage, creative imagination. So the poem talks about the enthusiastic jaguar to depict that hope always prevails even among animals. The poet tries to convey the message that hope prevails even among animals. It is not only among the human beings that we find hope. Hope is there even among the animals. They hope that they would get freedom one day or the other. They would be free from the clutches of the human beings. So the poem is about the freedom of animals, the power of animals. Let us try to understand or assess our understanding of the poem by answering the questions. The only evidence that shows that animals in zoo are alive is their being in the cage, the stink emanating from their cages, the cage that holds them. Visitors visit zoo to watch them. The stink emanating from their cages gives an evidence that they are alive. In the zoo, the cage that holds the onlookers spellbound is the cage of jaguar, tiger and lion, apes, parrots. It is the cage of the jaguar which makes or holds the onlookers spellbound. Each stride of jaguar expresses implicit arrogance of it, helplessness of it, taming of it, instinctive and wild spirit of it. Instinctive and wild spirit of it is expressed, implicitly expressed in its stride or movement. Who among the following shriek as they were on fire? Apes, parrots, tigers, lion. Apes. The boa constrictor's coil is a fossil. The figure of speech used here is simile, personification, irony, metaphor. The figure of speech used here is metaphor. And these are the sites that I visited for preparation of this presentation. Thank you for listening.